Alright, let's get this over with. Hey guys, this is dclaiche, and welcome to my review of the 3 Doctor Who 60th Anniversary specials. I know I said I was going to do this forever ago, and I am very much aware that the new season of Doctor Who is either coming out tomorrow or it's already out. I mean, honestly, at this point, I'm so good at procrastinating. I probably did release this video after those after the first episode came out. So yeah, that probably happened. But we're gonna go ahead and do it because I said I was gonna do it. Anyways, I'm not going to give you a huge summary of what the episodes were about. I'm gonna just let you go and watch them. There may be some spoilers, there may not be. I'm just gonna give sort of my thoughts on what I liked about the episodes and what I think didn't work and what I think could have been better. Stuff like that, which is basically what a review is. We start off with Starbeast. We have the reintroduction of David Tennant as the 14th Doctor this time, the reintroduction of Catherine Tate as Donna Noble, and, of course, with all these episodes, we have the bringing back of Russell T Davies, which is always a good thing. The Starbeast, I thought, worked as a very good introduction episode to this sort of series of special episodes. It served as a great reintroduction to the characters that we sort of grew to know and love, as well as the addition of some interesting new characters. We've got Shirley Ann Bingham, the new scientific advisor to UNIT, and we have Rose, which is Donna's daughter, which I thought was a really cool and clever thing. I kind of like the fact that her name is Rose. And we also have the introduction of the sort of main antagonist of the whole thing, which is the Meep, which I believe comes from a comic book story from forever ago. Overall, I would say this episode its job is to be a reintroduction and a sort of continuation of the story of the Doctor and Donna Noble, and we're gonna reintroduce these characters and bring them back. They weren't supposed to meet again because Donna, if she ever remembers the Doctor, she'll kind of die and whatnot. So how are we gonna fix that? I actually thought that they fixed it rather brilliantly by having the Metacrisis transfer into Rose. I thought that was really cool and really clever, and I appreciated that a lot. One thing I didn't appreciate was how they explained how Donna and Rose were able to let go of the Metacrisis. Now, this is a point that was really controversial. A lot of people really didn't like this, and I also was kind of one of the people that really didn't like this. Basically, the way that they explain it is Donna and Rose are able to let go of the power of the Metacrisis because they're women, I guess, and the Doctor would understand that if he was still a woman, but since he's a man now, and men can't give up power, so yeah, I thought that was really, really stupid and sexist. So, the way I prefer to imagine how Donna and Rose were able to let go to the Metacrisis is, well, Donna couldn't let it go by herself because the Metacrisis didn't have enough brain capacity in order to be able to figure out how to release itself from Donna. But now with the addition of an extra human brain, it now has the computational powers in order to be able to figure out how to let itself go. So that's how I interpret it. I don't entirely think that that's what Russell T Davies intended, but I'm gonna go with that one instead of the really, really sexist one.
The record, I just want to clarify a little further that when I say that Donna couldn't release the Metacrisis because she didn't have enough brain capacity to do so, what I'm saying is essentially one would need either a Time Lord brain or something equivalent in order to be able to figure out how to release the Metacrisis. Time Lord brains are obviously much more complicated than human brains. But 2 human brains, at the very least, have enough to where they can figure out how to release the Metacrisis. So that's what I'm saying.
Also, I just want to point out, I really like how a lot of these older characters are somewhat expanded. Sean Temple, it's shown just how much of a sweetheart Sean Temple is. He's really go with the flow. He loves Donna, loves his daughter, and basically is just like, okay, we're fighting aliens now. Fine with me, babe. Let's go. Which I kind of liked. I feel like Sean's a good dad. I like Sean. And I also just really love the one part where the Doctor explains to Donna, like, the only way to save everybody is for you to die. And Donna's immediate reaction is, okay. And I'm just like, that's Donna right there. That's the Donna I know and love. That's awesome. Also, like, who doesn't like the new TARDIS? I mean, it's just... I'm gonna let Donna say it herself.
It's gorgeous!
It really is. I mean, and just seeing the Doctor running around the TARDIS like a kid on Christmas to Murray Gold's beautiful music, it's just stunning. I love it. I love everything about it. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, basically this episode I thought was... I enjoyed it, but I also recognize that it probably wasn't the best episode of Doctor Who that there was, because a lot of it was... a lot of the things that I like were basically just fan service, but, you know, I am a fan that they are serving stuff to me, so I enjoyed it. But yeah, that's Starbeast. The next episode is, of course, Wild Blue Yonder, and this was a very interesting episode. I thought that this was... This had a lot of the sort of vibe of... Midnight. You know, it had... I mean, you know, Midnight has a lot of blue in the visuals. This one also does. And it also has creatures that we don't understand. We never get an explanation for. But we get a little bit more of an explanation for the not things than we do for the creature in Midnight, which makes me think... I think the Midnight creature is a little bit creepier. But I also love the introduction of the not things, because initially, you know, you're sort of showing these two scenes back to back of the Doctor with Donna in one room and then Donna with the Doctor in another room, and you think that, like, okay, these are two scenes that are sort of like one happened after the other, but we're just kind of cutting back and forth between these two scenes to sort of show the whole the conversation that the Doctor and Donna are sort of having. But then it's revealed that, nope, that's not what's happening. There's just another Doctor and Donna in the room, and they're creepy. They're very creepy. They can't get their bodies working together because they don't understand the concept of space, because they're not things. And on that note, I would just like to point out, this is one monster in Doctor Who amongst a large list of monsters in Doctor Who that kind of not really steal, but are similar to certain SCPs. If you know what the SCP Foundation is, then you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, go look up the SCP Foundation. But, like, you've got the Weeping Angels with SCP-173. You've got the Silence is very similar to SCP-055, the thing that you can't remember when you're not looking at it. Oh, and you've also got SCP-3930 kind of connects with... I would say SCP-3930 kind of connects with this one as well. SCP-3930 is a building that if you walk into, you stop existing. Like, you never did exist, which is similar to the cracks in the universe. But there's also a concept known as pattern screamers within the SCP universe, and these are things that don't exist, that are aware of the fact that they don't exist, which is very similar to the not things. So the concept's really cool, and you also get, in this concept, you get a little bit of a peek into the Doctor's psyche, and I really appreciate what Russell T Davies is doing with the fact that Chris Chibnall kind of screwed up a lot of things about the Doctor Who lore with the whole timeless child and stuff. So he's kind of... he's not fixing it as in getting rid of it, which would be the preferred thing to do. But he's fixing it by actually giving them weight. You know, these are things that actually... I mean, like, goodness... The Flux, the Timeless Child, these are things that you expect to weigh on the Doctor, and they didn't really seem to weigh on the Doctor that much during the Chibnall era, at least not in my opinion, but I don't think the Chibnall era was very well acted to begin with. Or, well, maybe not well acted, but not well written anyway. But this is written very well. Like, these are things, those are things that would weigh on the Doctor, and you can see just how much it weighs on the Doctor in this one episode. I love that the Doctor, after having this little conversation with the not thing, Donna, who's taunting him, essentially, with this forbidden knowledge that she knows that she's not supposed to know, that he kind of just runs off into a room and just screams. I really like that because it just shows, and this is another thing that they kind of do in these episodes, the Doctor's not okay. He's really not okay. Like, he's been through way too much to be continuing trying to be the gallivanting hero that he wants to be. He can't do it anymore. He's breaking at the seams. And I think the screaming scene does that particularly well. You've never really seen the Doctor break down quite like that before. I don't think, anyways. But yeah, I just really appreciated that. So we have the adventure with the knot things, and then that ends, and then we move on to the next episode, the Giggle, which is sort of the big finale of the whole thing. And we have the reintroduction of a very, very old Doctor Who villain, the Celestial Toymaker, played this time by Neil Patrick Harris, which I thought was a very, very good choice. Honestly, Neil Patrick Harris could have been the Master. I mean, like, he just could have been. He would have been a wonderful Master. Also, there was Russell T Davies basically saying, like, if there was an American series of Doctor Who, then Neil Patrick Harris would just be the Doctor, which, yeah, I kind of agree with him. That he would do really, really well. And I didn't really understand that much about the Celestial Toy. I haven't seen the original series of episodes with the Celestial Toymaker, so his whole concept that he's just like, I'm just a being that loves playing games, and I'm going to destroy entire universes in order to be able to play my games, and I always abide by the rules of the game. It's just like, okay, that's a very interesting character. Too bad I can't credit Russell T Davies. Whoever came up with that originally, brilliant, wonderful idea. And of course we get the reintroduction of Unit. Of course everybody's going insane on the planet because the Toymaker is making them insane because he's infected every screen on the planet. Still don't know how that works. Yeah, that was kind of a weird way to introduce the main conflict of the story. But you get all the way up to the part that we were all expecting because, you know, we knew that Ncuti Gatwa was coming, so we knew that David Tennant wasn't here to stay. So we have, presumably, the regeneration of the 14th Doctor. He's shot by the Toymaker with the big old red laser, and this is it. We're going to have the regeneration of the 14th Doctor. And I love the fact that this go around, David Tennant's Doctor decides, you know what? No, I'm gonna end it with the words I should have ended it with the last time. Because last time he said, I don't want to go. This time he just goes, allons-y. Except, it's not time for him to go yet. Plot twist of them all. The Doctor, instead of regenerating, bi-generates. This is one of the weirdest things that has ever happened in Doctor Who, probably since the Meta-Crisis, or the Timeless Child, to be honest. Of course, it's weird because, you know, you kind of expect regeneration to be this big sort of ceremony type of moment. It's the saying goodbye to the old and bringing in the new, but, like, not so with this one, which kind of makes me a little upset that, like, Ncuti Gatwa doesn't really get his first full episode to himself. But I do think that he works well with David Tennant. I think that he was obviously having a good time. And yeah, sure, it was kind of funny that he was running around in his underwear, although if I were being introduced as a Doctor, that wouldn't be the way I wanted to enter into the world. Also, there's sort of the reintroduction of the Master, who off-screen somehow lost in a game to the Toymaker and was trapped inside of his gold tooth, which, when the Toymaker disappears, of course, the gold tooth is left behind, and somebody picks it up, and ooh, the big, wonderful mystery, who is it? And, of course, you know, people are saying, like, oh, it's reminiscent of, at the end of The Last of the Time Lords, when the one little bit of the ring is picked up later. The Master is just really good at leaving the tiniest little bits of himself behind so that people can come along and resurrect him later on. So we're going to be seeing the Master later on, so that's great. Also, there is the thing that the Toymaker is afraid of, that we don't know what that is. Also, there's the whole thing with, like, the Legion and whatnot. My Legion are coming. And I'm just like, who's Legion? What are they doing? Okay, whatever. My theory on that is maybe one of the members of the Legion is this Maestro character that we're getting teased for the next season. But yeah, I also think it may very well be possible that within the next season we're going to see the introduction of the being whatever it is that the toy maker just ran away from. Didn't even bother messing with it. Or maybe that being is the maestro. Who knows? I don't know. And of course, at the very end, we have the very touching, I guess is the word. Yeah, I'm gonna go with touching. Conversation between 15 and 14 about how 14, the Doctor has just been running. Just constantly, ever since he left Gallifrey in his first body. He hasn't actually been able to just stop and be like, what in the world have I been through? And, like, yeah, that's a good point. The Doctor has definitely been through way too much to still be standing after thousands and thousands of years. So 15 sort of suggests to 14 that he stay behind with Donna Noble and his family while he goes zooming off into the cosmos, so that 14 can sort of cope with the millennia of trauma that the Doctor has been through. And of course, as a little sort of farewell present, 15 doubles the TARDIS, so now there's 2 TARDISes. The second of which is wheelchair accessible, so I guess that's great. Now Davros can get in. Oh wait, no, Davros can get in anyway, because apparently Davros doesn't have a wheelchair anymore. Yeah, that was a really dumb decision. I don't know, maybe they'll explain it somehow. But yeah, it's just really nice to see David Tennant's Doctor just sort of get the happy ending that we all wanted him to have. He has his family, he's not alone, and he's working through all of the things that he's been through. It's just a really nice ending. Except for the fact that I imagine that working through the millennia of trauma that the Doctor has been through is going to be a very painful experience. I vaguely recall somewhere that the Doctor said he feels like the pain of it all would kill him, and quite frankly, I think that actually will happen. This is my little fan theory, my little headcanon of what I think happens after the 14th Doctor splits off from the 15th Doctor. He stays with Donna Noble and her family, and, they have, they have a wonderful time being family and just kind of hanging around with each other. But eventually, the weight of everything finally does actually catch up to the Doctor, and he probably has terrible depressive episodes, which I would imagine would be so painful to endure that it may actually kill him and cause him to regenerate again. And so my headcanon is he's one day he's just on his bed just sobbing his eyes out over everything that's happened to him, and he regenerates just over and over again, always into a new face, while his family is there waiting, just supporting him, being there for him, until finally he turns into an older version of one of his favorite regenerations, the 4th one. And it's at that point when he finally feels like, I've worked through the trauma, I've worked through all of the things that I've been through. And, of course, that version of the Doctor stays with Donna Noble and her family, occasionally takes them out on expeditions in the TARDIS. These expeditions often allow the Doctor to pick up very interesting things throughout the universe, and he brings them all back and sort of makes them into a museum piece. He becomes the curator. I mean, come on. I mean, like, if there was going to be an explanation for the curator, that's a really good explanation for the curator. So, yeah, that's just my sort of little headcanon. But yeah, that is basically all of the 60th anniversary specials. I thought it was great. I thought it was good. I thought it was great to see some really good quality Doctor Who back on the screen again after the 5 years that we've had of not so very quality Doctor Who. Was it as good as a lot of the other specials that we've had? Well, it doesn't top the 50th anniversary special. I think that's just obvious. But I would say these 3 episodes together make up serviceable and quite entertaining episodes of Doctor Who. So, that being said, I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what 15 and Ruby Sunday are going to get up to in the upcoming episodes, upcoming seasons of Doctor Who. So yeah, that I guess is the end of my review of these episodes. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please come back next time for another video for you from me. And this is dclaiche saying goodbye.
Oh yeah, how could I forget? One of the greatest parts of this whole thing was they brought back Bernard Cribbins as Wilfred Mott for a little bit in the second and third episodes, which is always a wonderful thing to see. Wilfred, I mean, you gotta love that man. Yeah, it was really nice to see that. Rest in peace, Bernard Cribbins. You were spectacular.